Hey guys, it's Troy here, and let's talk about some pens that are about 75 years old. Yeah, no joke. I've got in front of me some pen mail that I have received over the past couple of weeks, and they're circa 1948 or so. To put that in perspective, my mom is a baby boomer from 1947 or so. So that lets me know when I look at these pens about roughly how old to consider them. But the Eversharp, this right here is an Eversharp Symphony, which was originally called like their Model 500, that was introduced in about 1948. And you look over here and you have the Parker 21. The Parker 21 also originally debuted in 1948. But these appear to be, just from what I can tell, Mark IIs, which would mean that these came out somewhere around 1952, possibly. And I purchased these 8 Parker 21s as a lot together. And this Eversharp Symphony, part of the Symphony family, there's a bunch of different variations to this particular pen, but after coming out with like the Eversharp Skyline, which I absolutely love, to me they're beautiful, they write great, they wanted to come out with something just a little bit different and a little easier to manufacture. Hence they came out shortly thereafter with this, which was, like I said, originally the Model 500, but they renamed it as the Symphony. And the Symphony sometimes had more of a metallic cap, but they also came with the solid color cap. And this particular model, you can see, is got a nice little narrow band on it. And that band on it helps determine what specific model number it is. So, looking that it's got gold-plated furniture, as they call it, on it, you know, with a clip in that cap band, then that would probably be a Model 713 because it's got the small band on it rather than a wider band or no band. So, I picked this up at auction, and it was looking to be really great shape. I mean, it looked to not have ever been inked. So, I take it back. This was not at auction. This was actually just plain marked down on sale for right around Christmas, for a Christmas sale, I think, at like 30% off. I think that's how I picked this one up, and I think I got this one off from Etsy, and this was at auction, these Parker 21s. So anyway, I picked this up, added it to my collection, and you can tell it came with a pencil with it. The pencil got a little scuffed up. It doesn't have any lead in it, but it still has the band on it. So if you look at it, you can see that band right there. Tax included, according to it, $2.25, I'm assuming, for the cost of the pencil. Unless this was the whole set for $2.25, because this was in the $5 and under category, as were the Parker 21s. So there were some similarities in their time of manufacture and their price range. So just wanted to share those. And looking at these, you know, they came in a variety of colors. You can see there's some blue, there's some green, red, and black. I already had a Parker 21 in my collection, and it's interesting about the Parker 21 because in talking to different people within the pen community, at the DC Pen Show last year, I went to a seminar on buying fountain pens that are older, that are collectible for, you know, the older audience, or let's say you just want something vintage. So there were several well-known people in the pen community, and they were having a debate over, you know, pens to look to add to your collection. And of course, everybody thinks, you know, the Parker 51. Well, the Parker 51 actually was a tremendously great selling pen, and pretty much every collector wants one in his collection. Well, matter of fact, they've also, you know, come out with a newer Parker 51 that's out there, and I did a video on that some time ago. Now, Parker 21, because of the success of the 51, they introduced the Parker 21, 1948 through 1951 for the Mark I, and 1952 forward for the Mark II. And just based upon, like I said, looking at the cap, looking at the construction, I think these are Mark IIs. And I'll show you what these are like. And one of the things about this, like I said, I already had one, and at that symposium, for lack of a better term, or that seminar, it was brought up about what pens you think are really good value for people who want to get into vintage pens. There was one guy who restores them for a living, and he mentioned when a Parker 21 came up that he didn't like the Parker 21. He said that he thought they were a pain in the butt to work on, whereas someone like Paul Arano, who he publishes Paul's fountain pen journal, Paul said, well, no, wait a minute. I thought they were, I think that they were very reliable, that they're very affordable, and that they're decent pens. So there's a difference depending upon to whom you speak about the 21. My personal experience with the Parker 21 has been that they've been very reliable. Parker is not my favorite brand of pen. I just got to throw it out there. I'm not a Parker fan. The Parker 51, personally, I thought was overrated. Yeah, it had a really decent nib. I've got a couple of Parker 51s. Okay, yay. You know, the Parker 21, the Parker 45, those to me are decent pens for the money, and they're good workhorse pens. They're very reliable, and I've had no issues. So when you open it up, it's got an alloy nib as opposed to the 51 where you've got a gold nib. But you can see it's got that hooded nib concept goes on. You do screw that off, and you see this one looks to have been inked. I can see where it looks like there's some black ink that was in, and here you've got more of a silicone style sack, more of a clear sack. And I haven't cleaned any of these pens out, but I can tell you most of them seem to be great shape. The sacks all seem to be in good condition, and some of them seem to like they've never seen ink. Some of them have. But looking at one like this, you can tell it's got just a little bit more wear to it. And you pull it off, and again, you've got a sack here that looks like this one may have seen some ink. So who knows? I mean, like I said, I just got these, and there were like 2 bags of them, and I just put them all into one bag here. But pull that off, and some of them have got, you know, that black that black rubber sack. All of them are pliable, and all of them so far seem like they're decent. So I haven't yet inked any of these up. I might before this video is done, just so I can show you what a 21 looks like when it's put nib to paper, and I'll show you what this looks like as well. This, of course, being, as you look, a lever filler from the 1940s. This was in excellent condition on this Eversharp. You can see on the cap there, you've got on that clip the name Eversharp. There's no impression or indentation on that barrel at all, so it doesn't tell you the branding on it. But you open it up and you get a nice, believe it or not, it's a flexible nib. Very nice flexible nib. But I've run across a few issues with this one here. So with this one here, sometimes it's hard starting. And even though it looks to never seen ink before, I'm probably going to have to go ahead and try to flush it out really well. Maybe you know, put the nib, soak it for a little bit, for just a few minutes while running my ultrasonic cleaner, and see what I can get out of it. But I'm definitely going to have to give this one a good cleaning. Maybe, and if that doesn't help, tear it apart, put it back together. But I can tell you that sack is pliable on this. And when I do get it to write, it actually writes fairly well. So, you know, just because of the condition, I even though it was 30% off, I may have paid a little more than I normally would for this particular model, but only because when I was looking at it, I said, you know, that doesn't look like it had ever even seen ink. It just looked to be in excellent condition, and I wanted to be like possibly the first one to ink it up and play with it, something from, you know, circa 1948. So let's see what we can come up with here in just a moment. I've already inked this baby up, obviously, and I'll ink up one of these babies, and I'll tell you what I'll do. A couple of things. I'll go ahead and put the same ink in this one as I have in the other. As a matter of fact, because I'll probably just pick the green pen. I'm going to use Waterman's Harmonious Green, which just so you can see the same ink out of two different pens and see what it looks like, but also because Waterman's tends to be a good mild ink and decent for vintage pens, Waterman brand being my go-to ink on most things, especially older pens. Something else I'll consider doing, I obviously don't need 8 of these, and I've already got some 21s in my collection. I'll consider selling these. Yeah, I will. As a matter of fact, I'll toss this out there for like, what, 20 bucks a piece. I've seen them go for a lot more than that, but you know, maybe 20 bucks a piece plus shipping. We'll talk. And if you're interested, you know, message me. You can look in the description here how to get a hold of my website. From there, you can email me. And you know, I'm thinking about letting these go, just because I already have some, and I may gift some to some people. But first come, first serve. 20 bucks, let's say, plus shipping in the continental United States. Let's say like $5 for first class, or closer to $10 or so for priority mail. And yeah. Believe it or not, I do take, you know, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, because I am tired of people at pen shows who don't accept Visa, MasterCard when you're in the modern era, and restaurants that don't take them. It doesn't take much, folks. I actually, you know, hey, these don't cost anything. This is free. You know, a mag stripe reader. Also, I can always send somebody an invoice electronically through email, and then you can just pay something that way if you want, Visa, MasterCard, your choice, that kind of thing. So, but just to prove people how easy it is, I personally, though, because I'm willing to complain about it, I'm willing to do something about it. So I made sure that, you know, I was set up to take electronic payments, even though I'm not like a vendor and I don't make a living doing this sort of thing. But anyway, let's go fill that pen up and let's see how it writes. Alrighty, well here I reached in and I pulled out the Parker 21 that I had in my collection. Someone had actually had it engraved with a name on it, and this looks to be more like a Mark 1 possibly. It's a much nicer looking cap, I think, but it's the same idea. You've got that hooded nib, you pull that off, and you've got, there's the sack that's in it. Parker 21 says right there on it. It gives you little filling instructions right there. So this is one out of my personal collection that I've had for years, and I've had good success with it. Now looking again here, let's pull these out, and you can see the different color combinations that are here. Black, blue, green, and red. All good looking colors, really. You know, Parker right there on that cap band, engraved, made in USA. And I think I was showing earlier, yeah, it's the same kind of, you know, that cage right there. Parker 21 right there. So Parker Pen Company, yeah, Janesville, Wisconsin. So anyway, these I haven't, like I said, I haven't flushed these out, but I did go ahead and ink this one up right here, and I did use that same green ink. So let's go ahead and put nib to paper. This is a Parker 21, and I do believe this is the Mark II model. That's my assumption, just based upon what I was seeing from the various examples online. I just know it says 21 right on it, and I know that it's got the aerometric filler, and it comes in various colors, and it's got the metallic cap that comes with it. This probably will have a composite metal alloy metal nib, as opposed to having the gold nib like you would find on a 51. one of the things about the Parker 21 is it took over pretty much Parker's under $5 market. So when they were looking at the idea of coming out with an affordable pen after the 51 success, the 21 came out and it suddenly took over 60% of Parker's business for the under $5 market at the time. So we're talking like 1952, and this is for the Mark II, but 1948 through 51 for the Mark I, or I guess Roman numeral number 1. Okay, so it's a good stiff nib. It's a decently smooth nib. And like I said, my personal experience with my Parker 21 is, and I agree with Paul Arano, that it's a good value for the money. It's a good workhorse pen, and it's been reliable for me. This is one I just took out of that bag and inked up. I didn't even flush the thing out. I just figured, let's go ahead and just ink it up to see what happens. And so far I'm happy with that. So I'm going to set it over here as inked. And like I said, for let's say you can get them for over 20 bucks online is what I'm seeing. So I figured, yeah, 20. I didn't buy them to sell. I really didn't. I actually bought them because, hey, look at all those pens. Look at the great price I can probably pick them up for. What the heck? And so I did. It was kind of on a whim. So then I got to look at it. I'm like, I'm not really going to use all these. I don't really need them, but why not? So I'm going to gift some of them. I'll sell some of them. So let's see. So this Eversharp here, in Eversharp, see, nice flex to it, but this is what I get every time. When I lay it down for just a little while, it stops writing. And so let's go ahead and, let's see, shake a little ink. There we go. And Eversharp, see, I don't like the fact I've got to do that in order to get ink, but look at how dark this is because of how much ink actually flows out of it compared to the other. So this is a Symphony. This most likely is the model number 713. Again though, I used the same Waterman ink. The Waterman Harmonious Green. Now, nice flex though. I mean, look at that. A lot wetter writer. Look at the difference here. Same exact ink out of the exact same bottle. Two different nibs. This one writes a lot wetter than does the Parker. But a nice flexible pen that does lay down a lot of ink, and it writes great when I get it to write. That's what I don't like. And you know, I've been playing with this ever since I've gotten it because I was like, oh, goody, 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 a new toy. And I like Eversharp. I really do. The Skyline's a great pen. I've got some Wall Eversharps in my collection that I absolutely love. Actually, I think possibly one of my favorite pens in my entire collection is a Deco Band. But anyway, I figured for the Symphony, I'll give it a shot. And when it writes great. Been really happy with it. Parker 21. Hard to go wrong with a Parker 21, which is why I bought them. You know, 8 pens. Got them in a lot at a decent price. I won the auction. Okay, fine. And I figured, yeah, maybe I can get some of my money back. And like I said, I'll probably gift some of these. I don't know. But if you're interested in, hit me up. And, you know, I could develop a whole storefront for it. And it's not going to cost me anything to do a storefront if I wanted to online. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, hit me up if you're interested. You know, 20 bucks plus postage will work something out. All right. So my Parker 21 and my Eversharp Symphony. That's my pen mail. Hit me up, guys. Feel free to leave your comments. I appreciate for those of you who have reached out to me lately. I've had some really good interaction with a bunch of you guys. And y'all are great. I've got probably one of the greatest group of followers here that I could ever hope for here on YouTube. So I appreciate y'all, and I just try to bring a little bit of my experience and my joy to you guys, and try to help enrich maybe your knowledge base and give you ideas for your own collection.